Everyone, welcome to the key to unlocking the potential of reality captured data. We're so glad that you can join us here today, and I'm here with a couple of special guests, which is very exciting. We're running a bit, well, we're on time actually, so we're running at exactly 3 o'clock here in the UK, so we'll start off the webinar now. If you do have any questions throughout, we do have the chat box on the right hand side of the screen, so please ask any questions. There'll be a couple of interactive slides as well where we'll ask you to pop some questions or pop some answers in that chat box. So yeah, please take full advantage of that. So today's webinar is hosted by myself. I'm Katie Kavanagh. I work as an application engineer manager at GeoSLAM, which is a FARO solution. I'm mostly responsible for everyday applications, how our data can help our customers, and solving real world problems with LiDAR data.
Yeah, nice meeting you. Thank you, Katie, for the introduction. So my name is Argenis Pelayo. I'm the product manager at JPIV Global Digital. We are a service company, a software company based in Miami, USA. My role is basically, I'm in charge of the product development, the roadmap, the product strategy, and making a product that is amazing for you all.
Thank you, Katie, for the intro. I'm Anna, account manager here at JPIV Global Digital, and I'm here just to make sure that everyone's getting the most out of the tool. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you both for being here. So yeah, we're really excited. We're going to do a bit of an introduction to GeoSLAM if anyone's not familiar with our platform, and then we'll dive right into the JPIV digital platform and how excited we are to kind of collaborate with you. Right, so without further ado, if we do have anyone here who's not familiar, GeoSLAM is primarily a handheld mapping, LiDAR mapping company. So we use what's called a SLAM algorithm to power our solutions. And what is SLAM? SLAM stands for simultaneous localization and mapping. So what this means is we're trying to map where we are in the world and also map the objects around us. So at the same time, we're finding where we are and also mapping the 3D environment. So how we do this is we use laser data measurements. So from all of our handheld system, we have some form of laser sensor, and we have an IMU, inertial measurement unit, positional data as well, to feed into that algorithm to give us that kind of localization aspect to position where we are in relation to objects. We then do we apply the SLAM algorithm. So we have the 3D feature recognition, and it's kind of like a scan-to-scan registration if you're familiar with terrestrial laser scanning setups. We do this on a second-by-second basis. So we look at walls, ceilings, any type of geometry around the operator and around the scanner, and we kind of do that feature recognition. So if you've seen a wall and then you see it from a different aspect, it starts to recognize those features, match those together, and build up this essentially registered 3D point cloud. So that's how it works in a nutshell. Here's a little visual of what we do. We've been doing this for a very long time. So we've been refining our SLAM algorithm, and we've worked in some of the most insane areas of the world. So we're very confident that we have a very robust solution. And by insane, I mean we've worked in very remote places. We've pushed it to the limits, and worked on some really exciting projects next to volcanoes, on glaciers, underground mines, all sorts of environmental punishments for the system. But it's always performed really, really well. So we have, as I said, a LiDAR puck sensor, which essentially maps the distance from the operator, so from whoever's using the unit, to the distance to the object around you. So the distance to the walls, this gives you the kind of measurement aspect. And then as you move through, we use that IMU to plot where you are. We always like to start and finish in the same place for best results. This is called closing the loop. So this just means that we distribute any error around the scan. And once you come back to where you started, again, we do that kind of feature recognition to make sure that we know where we are, and it closes that loop and gives you a really really good and accurate model of the area. So just why customers choose GeoSLAM? We've got a tried and tested SLAM system, but we also provide full data ownership. So really very relevant today. You have full control of all your data. You can put that into multiple different platforms. You can use lots of third-party softwares, and you can showcase that all that data that you own. We're able to easily transition between different environments. I'll talk more about that in just a second. We have a very established global distribution and support network. So we have fantastic dealers. There'll be someone in your time zone that's able to talk to you about the product and to give you some support. Even though our headquarters is here in the UK, in Nottingham, we are a global company, and we're really proud of our dealer network and all the work that they do to support us. You can do unlimited data processing. So once you have your software set up and running, you can use GeoSLAM Connect. You can process as many data sets as you like. There is no cap on data processing. This works in environments where other scanners don't. As I've said, we've kind of pushed it to the limits. It being a handheld device, it's very compact. So you're able to get through small areas, so tight spaces. So we've done some mapping in caves. We've done some underground mining. So areas where some other systems might not be as compliant, we're able to get into. We can capture data very fast, up to 10 times faster, as we state here, but it's very, very quick. As soon as you've done the initial initialization, you're then ready to go and start scanning. So the setup time takes about 30 seconds from turning the unit on to then making sure that you're got your green LED and you're ready to scan. And then capture time, we can put it on a UAV, we can put it on a car, we can walk around with it. So realistically, it's as long as it takes you to walk, fly or drive around an area is how long it takes the data to be captured and then processed. And it's also lightweight, it's easy to use. You don't have to be a trained surveyor. It does help if you have some concept of geospatial, but we can train you up and you're able to use it and produce a scan in about 30 minutes of getting the equipment. So it's very, very quick and easy to use. And so the ZEB family here, we have the ZEB Go, which is more of an entry-level scanner. This is our cheapest option, but it has a 30-meter range. It's fantastic for indoor mapping. This is very much a handheld laser scanner for everybody. We then have the ZEB Revo RT, and the RT there stands for real time. So this is processing your data as you're walking around. Once you've finished your scan, you will have your full data set, and you're ready to then share that on. The ZEB Horizon is pretty much our ultimate mobile mapping tool. And what we mean by this is that it's fully, fully compatible with all of our accessories. We've got lots of different modules for this that you can use in lots of different environments. So again, I'll speak about some of those in just a second. But then we also have the ZEB Horizon RT, which is the newest into our ZEB family of products. Very versatile. We have the real-time display on there so that you can see that you've got your full site captured before you leave or before you make any, before you do any more scanning, which is a really nice feature. You can see it on the smartphone and it gives you an idea of where you've been, how much you've captured, and the complete overview of your site for the day. So some accessories here. These are all for the ZEB Horizon. Some of the accessories on the right-hand side of the screen are for our Go and Revo as well. But as I mentioned, we have a car mount. We are able to attach to the car and perform a scan. Again, this is still a SLAM scanner, so you make sure that you're in an environment that's got lots of features. And by features, we mean just some sort of differential geometry, which is about 1 meter by 1 meter. So trees are great, other cars are great, not moving, but other features that you'll be driving around and capturing, you can use for a scan with the car mount. The UAV mount, again, we can attach the Horizon to any UAV that will have a payload of around 4 kilograms. So quite a lot of the DJI M300 scans is what we use, and we usually fly about 3 to 5 meters a second, and about 20 to 25 meters above ground level, and we get a really good scan. You want to be again in a place where there's some features, but we've pushed this to the limit again, where we've had some empty fields with some power lines and things like that. All of the sample data is on our website at geoslam.com, so you can have a look at some of that we've captured with the car and the UAV as well. The ZEB guard and the ZEB cradle, very used for putting down mine shafts, putting down manholes, putting the system into some not so nice areas, but areas which are inaccessible, and you wouldn't potentially want to send a human down. So we have a couple of solutions where you can use the ZEB Horizon and also the ZEB Revo in kind of vertical shafts as well. And then we have a couple of camera options and a couple of mounting options. So the ZEB Vision is a full panoramic camera, so full 360 imagery. You can colorize point clouds from the ZEB Horizon, and you can view these in our ZEB Connect viewer and also in JP Digital as full bubble views and full kind of immersive data sets, which JP, they're great at showing the ZEB Vision data to its full potential. ZEB Locate as well, we do have a backpack solution, so you can also include GNSS data with your ZEB Horizon to make it a little bit more accurate, or to just position it in a real world environment. So this has a sensor, a GNSS unit on top of the backpack, and what we do is we use the trajectory of the GNSS and the trajectory of our mobile scanner to combine those two and to give you a fully georeferenced output. So there's a whirlwind tour of some of the accessories that we have. The ZEB Vision, obviously, very relevant to today's webinar. So a lot of the data that you'll see collected today was with the ZEB Horizon and with the ZEB Vision camera. So without further ado, I will pass on to my colleagues.
Thank you, Katie. You guys have an amazing portfolio of products. Congrats. Really excited for this collaboration. So yeah, the first question we wanted, the first information we wanted to give you is this question that is commonly asked in the industry, that is, where are we heading with reality capture data? For us, reality capture data is all the information that can capture the reality, not only terrestrial laser scanners, but also SLAM, drones, cameras, videos, satellites, anything that can capture the reality is a reality capture information. So the reality capture information is already being used in a lot of industries. I don't think there is one industry being left behind, and it's being used across the project lifecycle and also the asset lifecycle. This information is being used from the planning stage by architects, designers, engineers. It's being used for construction managers, for monitoring, documenting the construction site, construction progress. It's being used by VDC managers, BIM managers, for quality assurance, comparing the assist conditions with the as design BIM model, all the way up to the digital twins. This information is being used also for asset management, doing a scan to BIM, for asset management and operations, and all that comes with it. So the use cases are unlimited. So the question we all ask, and once you get your hand in with this information, is there are two questions that we all need to ask. The first question is, so what's next? I mean, you already have all this information, this huge information that can be terabytes of information. So what's next in the industry? So the two main questions we need to ask is, how can we easily manage, store, transfer, and share this information in an easy way? And how can we make it? How can we make this information accessible to anyone? Because that's the value of the information. And the second question we'll need to ask is, how can we maximize the value of this information? because we all know that the more people use this information, the most valuable it gets. So that's the two main questions the industry is already asking. And in the next couple of slides, we're going to be showing you all the common issues in the reality capture industry and how we at JP Global Digital, we are working on helping the industry and partnering with industries like companies like GeoSLAM to overcome these challenges and to answer these questions. So Anna.
Thank you, Argenis, for the introduction. So yeah, taking in consideration everything that Argenis and Katie said, if you ever been involved in a laser scanning project or have scanned yourself, I'm sure that you have come up with this, let's say, the most common issues with reality capture and data sharing management. So one common challenge in the industry is how difficult it is to share point clouds or reality capture data with clients or with teammates, especially if they don't have any prior experience or training in working with such data. Sharing this data in a format that clients can easily access, process, and understand becomes crucial for project management and client satisfaction at the end of the day. So without a streamlined solution in place, some clients, some people may struggle with making sense of the data. They really don't understand what they can do with it. And of course, this all leads to delays and potential reworks. Additionally, the process of onboarding clients who are unfamiliar with this kind of data, with point clouds and reality capture, of course, can be time consuming. So another issue is the current ways that we are delivering this data. Sometimes we rely on platforms such as Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, or even physical hard drives, which is not very efficient. Even though it is the easiest option, it doesn't mean that it's the best or the safest way to deliver a project. So if we take a closer look at the problem, when we rely on these platforms or even hard drives, we may think it's convenient because it's easy. You can just upload and transfer a large file. However, as we all know, these platforms are not specifically made to view and handle point clouds or reality capture data. So of course, that makes it difficult to organize the data, control who has access to it, and collaborate on it. On the other hand, if you're using hard drives, it may seem straightforward, like the easiest way to do it, but of course it has its own disadvantages. They can be lost, damaged, misplaced, and of course, once the client receives the hard drive, they don't know how to look at it, they don't know what's there, so it will stay on a shelf pretty much forever. Additionally, the logistics that entail shipping a hard drive, which of course can slow down the project and represent extra cost. Another challenge that we face is people struggle to visualize large amounts of data. So once the customer receives the hard drive or that link, they often find themselves in need to find a way how to view it, how to open that file. So this usually requires using third-party software and of course additional training. So once the customer receives that data, they might realize they don't have the necessary tools or software and of course training to make sense of the information. And this can add an extra layer of complexity, and sometimes it can cause frustration for the customer or for your teammates. So that's why simplifying the visualization process for customers ensures that they can fully utilize the data and, like Argenis says, get the most out of that reality capture data. Another issue that we face is that reality capture data is hard to access. So once the project is completed, once the reality capture data is done, usually the data is stored in several locations and formats. So that makes it harder to find it when you need it. If the data is scattered across different servers or devices, it can become quite a challenge to find a file let's say when the design team requires, or if the customer is trying to look at it again. So we need to make sure that all this data is easily accessible when we need it. Another issue that we face is the inability to make reality capture information available to all who need it. So this usually prevents teams from making informed decisions, or sometimes even simply taking a measurement. Let's be honest, sometimes people will need a point cloud just to take a measurement from point A to point B. And if they cannot have access to this information, it can cause delays, misunderstandings, and they might rely on outdated data, incomplete data sets, and sometimes it's better to have that information available, and that will avoid usually a trip to the field. Another significant problem that the industry is facing is the lack of access to the latest project information. So that means that team members are not able to easily obtain the most up-to-date information related to one specific project. Of course, it can lead to confusion, miscommunication. The team members may be working on outdated data, so they're not making the right decisions. So this, of course, can affect the collaboration among team members, and it will usually create silos of information. So different team members have different versions or incomplete information of the data, and that is something that we have found it's very common among organizations. And it's especially affects even more when stakeholders outside the immediate project team need access. So client executives may also be affected by the lack of access to the latest project information. Another significant problem is the inability to communicate project progress and status of the project. This creates challenges in sharing updates and information about the project progress with different stakeholders. So when we're unable to communicate project progress, it can lead to misunderstanding and even more delays in the decision making. So with a smooth communication process, all of this becomes more difficult to keep everyone aligned and on the same page. So the impact of this problem usually extends beyond the immediate project team. So you know how hard it gets when some executive or VP or CEO is trying to have immediate access to a piece of information. And if we don't have it, that usually means trouble. And finally, another key challenge that we see some organizations facing is a need to create a competitive advantage and, of course, drive repeated business. So we see that the problem here lies in how collaboration works with this kind of data. Sometimes it's not fully optimized. So we understand that improving collaboration with our customer is super important when we try to achieve these goals. So creating a competitive advantage means usually distinguishing ourselves from competitors and trying to find ways to offer unique value to our customers. Okay, so what if you could have all of this data streamlined and centralized in one place, in a place that's compatible with all your 3D data, including BIM models for those who use it, and 360 images, a place where you can add comments, notes, take measurements, make clippings, everything from a user-friendly interface that's made for both technical and non-technical users. And that's where JPIV comes in, which is a place where surveyors, engineers, and project managers go to sync while working around laser scanning data and BIM models, everything from an easy-to-use and web environment. So JPIV is allowing surveyors to easily share and centralize reality capture data and project documentation from a single cloud-based platform. All of this is just making it more easy for non-technical users to access and use this data without downloading any third-party software. From JPIV, you can generate digital agendas, walkthroughs, and like we mentioned before, allow the clients to get the most out of their reality capture data that usually they are already paying for. All of this will improve project visibility, transparency, and at the end of the day, improving collaboration and communication with clients. In JPIV, all of the data is stored in a secure cloud provider, reducing the risk of data loss or mismanagement. And we are not a design software, so the client cannot mess anything up. Don't worry. So why customers are choosing, oh, I think I skipped the slide. Yeah. So some of the JPIV's main benefits, like I mentioned before, it's a cloud-based solution. It will become the single source of truth for all of your 3D data. It's a place where you can centralize and share all your latest scanning data and BIM models, again, for those who use it. It will unlock a competitive advantages against your competitor or in your market. It will foster collaboration among your teams, stakeholders, and clients. And for those who use it, it's a tool that will speed up your design and model review meetings. All of this will contribute to reduce rework. It will accelerate project delivery. And at the end of the day, it will enhance project visibility. So why customers are choosing JPIV? We are an agnostic platform. We support the universal file formats for point clouds and the most used file formats for models. We are extremely easy to use. Our platform requires very little training and minimal onboarding. We support large data sets. The bigger the data, the bigger the problem, let's say. And we like to take pride on our customer support. Our priority is always the customer. So for any issue that you have, we're going to be there. Okay, so now I already said too much. Now I want to show you. So let me share my screen real quick. Okay, there you go. So this is the main dashboard of the platform. This is when you come to centralize and store all of your data. JPIV will allow you to create an ecosystem around your reality capture information. So everyone that's involved in the project has access to the data from start to finish, increasing project visibility and transparency, and also keeping track of all the reality capture data that's generated in the project. This is one of the views of the project. We also have a map view for those who have ongoing projects in different locations on the world. This is another way to take a look at the projects. So I'm going to go ahead and open GeoSLAM data right here. This was a data set captured with one of the GeoSLAM equipment. So from here, as you can see, you can navigate around the project, and also we have the capacity to overlay point clouds and panoramas. So you can also have access to the 360 images. I'm gonna skip to the next screen just so we don't wait. So we also have access to the 360 pictures, so we can give like the full visual context of the project. One of the most important features in our tool, and is the main reason that we're trying to accomplish, is the annotations. So basically, with the annotation tool, you can create digital walkthroughs or agendas. So if, for example, you want to show someone this specific piece of equipment that's here, you can create an annotation, and that will create a point of interest from that specific view. You can share that with everybody on the team. You can share that specific members. You can attach files, image links, and also add tags or categories. The way we are looking at this is to make it easier for the customer to navigate this data. We have seen many times that they open up a point cloud and they don't know where to go. They'll just see a bunch of points in space, so they don't know what to do or where to look at. And this, of course, will depend on your use case. Especially in mining, this is extremely useful. Just to give a walkthrough of the site. And you can provide even more context by adding pictures and files to the annotation. So all of this with the goal of improving collaboration and communication with the customer. So let's say you made digital walkthrough of this facility and you want to share this with someone else from outside your team. You can create a report from this annotation, and you can either share it directly through the email, or you can download a PDF that would look like this. So you can send that to anybody by email. Each annotation will have a direct link back to the specific point of interest. And another important feature is the ability to produce or create client-ready deliverables. So now in JPIV, JPIV has a markup tool and a visual notes feature that allows the users to create a report, let's say, or a screenshot with relevant information regarding that point of interest. You can add arrows, circles, let's say add text. You can say remove this. And once the let's say the screenshot is saved, you can either download it as a picture or you can save it as a visual note. So you can later share this specific viewpoint from, let's say, let's close this right here. You can share that specific viewpoint with someone else. It will come back to this. So this is another way to add more value to the data and to the deliverables, and also will allow you to convert reality capture information into client-ready deliverables. All of this by generated interactive reports, customized views, allowing the customer to pinpoint important areas, and pretty much getting the most out of the reality capture data. So I think that's it for the demo. We are going to open the floor for any questions that you guys might have. Feel free to put that on the chat.
Thanks for that. Yeah, Anna, it's so important to have kind of an end-to-end solution. We have all of our questions from, doing demos, capturing all this data, and then having, a really easy way to share it. I really like the annotations tool that you have, and that has helped me in so many ways of people who just get in front of a point cloud and say, what am I looking at? And that's, it's such a simple way to kind of share that data and that information. So yeah, thank you for that. Let's go through some of the questions. We've had some come in. I don't know if you've noticed the polls on the side as well. We have been asking a few questions. First one was, are you currently using any software to manage your reality capture data? And actually, a few more answers just coming in now. It's pretty much 50-50 of people saying yes and no. So that's really interesting. I know sometimes you feel like you go down a particular route with your software and you perhaps don't reevaluate it. and just see if it's working for you. But this is a really good opportunity to start looking at the options out there and to give JPIV a go. And then off the back of that, a perfect opportunity, because the other poll was, have you tried JPIV yet? And we had a lot of people saying no, a few people saying yes, so a few returning customers, I think, on the webinar, which is great. But yeah, all of those people who've said no, hopefully this is your push to have a look and to start getting some projects uploaded. Okay, let's go through some of the questions. So some of the earlier questions, I hope we've answered. Just relating to GeoSLAM, yes, it does take panoramic images as the Faro scanners do. So yeah, not in the same way. The Faro Focus has a Ricoh Theta camera on the top, and we have a kind of a GeoSLAM own camera, which we use, which has a front and a back lens, and we stitch those images together in a slightly different way. But yes, we do have panoramic images. And then Anna, I think we have a question for you, which is, will this be a direct plug-in for JPIV?
Usama, I'm not sure what is it referring to. Can you put that on the chat, maybe?
Haven't had an update. We'll go with a different question, and then we'll come back to that one. A few people asking if they can get a slide deck of this presentation. This will be shared with everyone after the webinar. Usually takes a little while to come through, but you will get a copy of this recording. And yeah, we've got everyone's email address, so we can get you some information about the slide deck as well. Okay, so another question is JPIV priced by space, scan count, dataset size, or annual subscription?
Argenis might take that.
Yeah, we price by storage, by gigabytes, and by users. We have 3 different user roles. So depending on the user roles, you have, let's say, the guest user that is unlimited. And you also have the members and the administrators that are pay users. So we can, charge, we price by storage, by users, and we try to customize the pricing structure accordingly to our clients' needs.
Perfect. Yeah, really useful. So it's it just means that you can use it as and when you need it as well, which is great. Okay, thank you. Let's have a look. So just a couple more questions about how this is integrated. So this is probably just leading on from the question before. It's not integrated into GeoSLAM software. So GeoSLAM Connect is the GeoSLAM platform for applying the SLAM algorithm to your raw data. So it's completely separate at this time. GeoSLAM Connect it feeds into JPIV very well. We are able to export in a couple of different file formats, of which JPIV accepts all of them. So we can have E57s of your colored data with your images and display them. We've got LAS, LAZ files, so they are separate. But yeah, it's a great platform, and it's really easy to integrate your data between the two. Another question for Anna, which is, what other CDEs can you link JPIV to?
I think Usama might be referring to the 360 images coming from external cameras. So that's something that we are working on currently, to be able to accept 360 images from external cameras. So stay tuned, Usama.
Brilliant, thank you. So this question from Stuart, is there a capability to share point clouds with clients who have little to no SLAM experience? Yes, I mean, the sharing capability is kind of independent. GeoSLAM ourselves, we are pretty good at being a kind of a very user-friendly experience from capturing data. So the data capture side of things. So people who have kind of no SLAM experience, we can cater for those people. It's a very simple way to get a point cloud, and then the sharing capabilities, JPIV, are super easy as well. So this is a perfect solution for that. People who, you said specifically building owners and people who perhaps not so familiar with point cloud data. This is definitely a great end-to-end solution for that. And then again, is it possible to have a trial version of JPIV?
Absolutely. Who is this question coming?
This is, I'm sorry, I'm very bad at pronunciation.
Okay, yes, we'll contact you after the webinar to set it up. Mm-hmm.
Perfect, thank you. Is there, we've got a question here about the use of RCP files, obviously quite a popular format. Is that going to be available in JPIV in the near future?
Yeah, we are currently working on that. As of today, from Autodesk Recap, you can export the A57 with embedded images, and you can import the A57 into our software. But in the next, I would say in the next month, we will be able to support RCP and RCS files coming from Recap.
Perfect. That will be a huge help, I'm sure, to many people. I bet you get asked that quite a lot, so that's great to know that that's coming. Right. A few questions about GeoSLAM specifics. If there are any questions that we don't get around to answering that potentially aren't directly related to this, we will get back to you. So please ask any questions if you have anything JPIV specific or GeoSLAM specific, and we will get back to every question that is asked. So I think, so this, Ross asked a question, is there a low entry level cost? I think from the GeoSLAM hardware perspective, we have the ZEB Go, which is a very entry level handheld scanner. And I guess we've just answered that based on the pricing of JPIV. So yeah, per user, per amount of data. So depends what your use of entry level is, but there's definitely a pricing system for everyone. Question about the landing page. Can it be customized to land on a global folder, or does it always land on the folder view?
Sorry, I was analyzing the question. No, you can customize the landing page, but surely that's something we can work on. So that you're able to land on any view you want to land.
Perfect. Okay. And then, yeah, just what kind of measurement tools does JPIV have for point clouds?
We can measure heights, distances, areas, volume. We also have a tool for like viewing the XYZ coordinate in case your information is your reference, which is really important for the industry. If the information is your reference, you can view the XYZ coordinates of any point in the space. So yeah, distance measurement, distance, heights, area, volume, and XYZ coordinates.
Brilliant. And then following on from that, we have another question. just about georeferencing. So do you support EPSG conversion? Do you support georeference data?
Yeah, we right now, if your information is already georeferenced, that information is embedded in the point cloud. So the conversion you use is you have to do it in the processing software. They tend to have these settings where you can customize the UTM. And once you do that in the processing software, we can support it in the JPIV. So if you want to see the SYC coordinate, we basically you view the information that is already in the point cloud.
Yeah, and from GeoSLAM Connect side of things, we can do a few different ways of georeferencing. So if you have the need to georeference, we can support you with that from point cloud collection to then processing and then into JPIV. Okay. We do have a few more just specific questions, so we'll get back to those. A late one from Stuart is JPIV Apple Mac compatible?
Yeah, JPIV runs in any web browser. We recommend Google Chrome, Firefox, Edge. But yeah, you can use it in Apple Mac, in a desktop, in a tablet, in a Microsoft processing hardware. So yeah, in any device that has a web browser, you can use our software.
Brilliant, good to know. All right, and not a question, but we have here JPIV is great. If you haven't tried it, get a trial and start sharing your data, which is really nice to hear. So I think we'll end it there. Thank you guys for your time. Hennis and Anna, we have your details on the screen. So if anyone has any questions, they can contact you here with your email address. And of course, we'll get back to anyone that we didn't get to in the live Q&A. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for joining me, you two. And yeah, have a great rest of the day. And I'm sure we'll speak to you all soon.